Shane, you're up. Your topic and what your participants spoke about.
Great, so over here. Okay, good. So my question, the question that we answered, we dealt with at our team was a question about the home institutes. So, what's the level of service from the home institutes for us as members here in the US, and what could the home institutes perhaps do a little bit differently to help us? So we had a wide range of discussion, and we had members obviously from Canada, from Australia, New Zealand, England, and Wales, and Ireland at the table. It was always a well-rounded discussion. The number one point that came out was really for the home institutes just to be aware that when they are over here, when the executives come over, typically it's once or twice a year, there's typically some sort of major event for the members. It's just to ask them to sort of consider that the chartered accountant community over here is a community, right? CAW, people in this room, all of the members, it's a community of members. And it's not really, we don't think parochially, we don't think about our home institute in that sense. So it's just that the message for the home institutes to really, if they're gonna have a large event, just try and invite all the CAW members here, if it's in New York, or if it's in DC, or in SoCal, or wherever it might be, just to be more cognizant of that. We coordinate as a community, more so than as individual institutes. So, and it's particularly, I think it is, many of the institutes have done a good job with that, to be very honest. I think one of our largest institutes hasn't. And I think it's important just to call it out that that's not the way we operate in this market, and we would like to see that to change, okay? So that will be a welcome change. The second key point that came out, and I'll try and pick up some time here because I know we're running out of time, is just leverage social media more. So perhaps less of the email flow. Many members get obviously lots of emails from the home institutes. So maybe just more social media usage will be helpful. And particularly around events and stuff like that. One of the questions was, can we have events there? And it might be more of a learning to us for CAW Network USA as much as the home institutes, but maybe trying to think about, should we have a calendarized set of events or networking events that are, it could be the first Tuesday of every quarter, or it could be, the last Friday of every month, whatever it might be. Something that takes the thinking out of it in terms of the coordination and meetings and stuff like that. So that was just something to think about. The third topic was really just, a question about, how interested, when you're overseas like we are, how interested really do you end up being about the domestic activities of our home institutes? And I think, to be fair, most of us probably say, it's not that important domestically what's going on. However, I think there was more of a sense that we want to be kept informed. Was anything strategic, or particularly around the branding and the sort of future development of the profession? So those sort of topics certainly seem to be the ones that would resonate perhaps with the membership over here, to make sure we're aware. And then there was just one final topic. It was really just about just a question, really a question, maybe not something we're looking for a direct answer on, but it came up actually in just one of the previous sessions that, we call ourselves chartered accountants. We all grew up as chartered accountants. We take a lot of pride in being chartered accountants. But the reality is that the brand chartered accountant is probably 100, 150 years old. And we think about all the technology, the digitalization that's going on, the AI transformation of business, and just asking ourselves that question. And I think the Home Institute leaders need to just reflect on it. Is chartered accountants the right brand for us looking forward, given all the digitalization? How do we encapsulate all those digital type skill sets, tech skill sets, data analysis, all those other skills? How do you encapsulate that into the brand? And is that messaging around, is it the branding, the naming itself, or is it the way the brand is supported in all the various markets? So it's not, we don't have an answer, we just put that out there as maybe a philosophical question. So I'll stop there, David.
Thank you, Shane. Any questions or comments? You don't have to have any, but if you got some, now's the time. Peter.
Your last point about sort of getting the brand so that it's ready for the future, is what I heard in what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I would endorse that 1,000%. I think the foundation of chartered accountancy is absolutely superb. But I don't think we've done a very good job yet in articulating how we ought to be looking 10 years from now. I mean, I know what I'll be looking like 10 years from now, but that's another subject. But the foundation of chartered accountancy is really, really good. My dream, frankly, is that the sustainability dimension of our sort of framing of our economy and the environmental dimension, those should be pulled in to the core of accountancy. I think that's where I would like to see our profession going.
Yeah.
We have got such a wonderful foundation, and yet we are limiting ourselves, in my view, to the most simple part, and not the most important part. So anyway, that's my.
Thank you.
That's a very, very fair point, Peter. Very fair.
Anything else? In that case, thank you. I'll wait a second. David Freeman's put his hand up. Half. That means that half a question or a whole question?
Just a very quick comment.
Which is, looking forward, the impact of artificial intelligence. I mean, we're ignoring Ireland, who have the 3 letters that we would all want in the name of an institute that's focused on artificial intelligence, CAI.
Thank you, David. Okay.